Well met, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series Europe Challenger Edition. Nathanius, how are we not towards the finals? It's almost midnight in Europe. We've got some long
it's not here
matches.
Almost, the time is right there. Time is on the screen. You're not fooling anyone.
We've had some long matches, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And they've been good, though.
Yeah.
I watch people play 40-minute battlecruiser games all day.
Because, Nate, when you're like 50 supply ahead in army, the right call is to build 9 orbital commands.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, you kill your opponent is what you do.
I think trying to kill Raynor is exactly why Sol lost that match.
Yeah, perhaps.
Taking that fight with 7 battlecruisers when neither of them have any money.
At the very end, I mean, Sol had some questionable plays here and there, but then again, it's a 2-hour series. So, yeah, like your brain has to be fried, but I'm not sure if it justifies like placing multiple sensor towers right next to each other, for example.
No. I'm just glad we had that break after map 2 so I can eat, because the food is all ice cold now, as I expected it.
Almost dropped some food. Like it's when you teleport like your battle cruisers right next to where they are already, like stuff like that was just like some of the plays were just really a little bit off. I think he definitely could have won that game or that series multiple occasions, but yeah, 2-hour series, it's difficult to retain any sort of
There's a whole lot going on in there to unpack.
Yes,
cats.
indeed.
In the bottom right, he's the red Protoss player. He is PtitDrogo.
On top left-hand side, it is Mr. ShoWTimE. He is powerful. Look at that money. Money.
Money.
Who's more handsome between these two?
It's really hard to say. You know, ShoWTimE gives me more like a Russell Crowe type vibe, even though he doesn't have facial hair. And PtitDrogo gives me a little bit more like Ryan Reynolds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
One of them's like skinny handsome. One of them's like built handsome. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not seeing those comparisons at all. But like,
I'm just thinking more like, you know.
I would swap him if anything. Russell Crowe would be PtitDrogo more, no?
Drogo's not that built though, is he? Is he built now?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just saying ShoWTimE.
But the face-wise, like Drogo's like scruffy.
Well, I wasn't going for that. No.
Fair.
I was trying to make a more general comparison.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
All right, their probes are gonna touch, and they are gonna scout each other.
It's PvP. We literally cannot really talk about much until the core is done, because people do fake proxies all the time.
Yes, indeed.
So, what did you have for breakfast yesterday, Cats? Do you remember?
Yesterday for breakfast,
Wrong answer. It was Captain Crunch. I'm so sorry. Let's play again tomorrow.
What did you have for breakfast was the question?
No, you.
Oh, I don't. Not Captain Crunch, that's for sure.
You just answered slowly. You gave me a window.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't think I had breakfast yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't have breakfast.
That's fine.
So there's the 2 gateways, 1 sentry and 1 stalker on the side of ShoWTimE, and 2 stalkers on the side of Drogo. So I like the sentry stalker better against the stalker, right?
Yeah, the map's too big to try and do like actual stalker pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
With the ramp leading over towards the natural, it's kind of a...
Yeah.
It's definitely defensive in its own way, though, because like if it was oracles to come in, right, like stalkers are good against those, and he can step out on the map because of this, but there is no proxy to be found. He kind of put it in a weird spot in his natural, but he shouldn't be able to punish that, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely not. At the same time, it's a very safe place that's probably never gonna get scouted, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't scout it unless you had a sentry go around the outside, and it may pass over it. Denies the probe from getting in.
Yep. Very cute. Now 2 sentries in production for Drogo, so he's going to catch up in that regard somewhat. But ShoWTimE with the earlier sentry will get, indeed, the earlier information. Drogo not really able to do much about that. Will drop at Nexus in the face of danger. And let's see, does he see anything? Is there anything to see?
Wow, that's an interesting call. Canceling the shield battery in front of the hallucinated Phoenix. He's like, oh, well, now my Oracle could actually do a lot if it gets in.
Yeah, maybe make a second Oracle even.
Especially since he followed up with the Yeah, he's gonna. Especially because he followed up with the, what's it called? The sentries. So he doesn't have a tremendous amount of stalkers either.
You're completely right. What do you think? Why do you think he canceled it? What do you think made him cancel the shield battery there?
I think it was a power play. It was a power. It was a power move because he's like, oh yeah, you can see me, right?
These 2 sentries.
Goodbye, sentries.
Oh my God, is this just game? I think this could be it.
I guess he's like, yeah, I don't need to kill the sentries. I just killed 6 probes. Bruh.
Is that worth? What do you think? Would you go for the sentries instead? If you get the
I would go for the
sentries,
sentries.
then you get the probes for free, right?
I would leave the sentry. I get the sentry
until you run out of energy.
He's maybe worried about something else, but there was no something else. He's just gotten attacked coming his way, and he has shield batteries.
Yep. A good presence of mind there to continue to block with the pylon. Just probably has the problem location.
Are back. BT dubs.
Yes, indeed. And they are doing a pretty decent job so far. Nice tag.
They don't look like Phoenix. I can't believe, man, the things that people can complain about blow my mind. Those oracles do not look like Phoenix. Was it you who said that earlier?
Someone said that? No.
Someone mentioned it today. Might have been Fear Dragon. We gotta
look at them.
Yeah, I'll bully him extra hard next cast.
Oh no. I can see the wings is why he thinks so, right? Like, yeah, they definitely don't look like Phoenixes, but I can see how they are a little bit.
And I think that the medevacs with the mercenary skins are actually hybrid reavers on ladder because they have claws and they fly.
Fair.
Ooh!
Very cute. He's gonna elevator everything onto here.
How about that?
Very, very cute.
Drogo, is he just gonna build 2 Stargates now?
Go the ramp, please.
It's a ramp.
Or shield the ramp? No! No!
Oh, well. Okay, all that glitters is gold.
Yeah, so he's not gonna be able to accomplish anything here. Against the Immortal alone, maybe if he force shielded the ramp. Why are these probes being pulled? Like, there's plenty of army here for ShoWTimE. I feel like this is a little bit sloppy of a defense. Maybe estimating the potential from the War Prism.
That 5 range. So we might as well touch on this because I guess it does have some. Is this a mistake? Did he made a mistake? He did not mean to start +1 air weapons.
Oh, we've made a mistake.
Oh no! Oh no, brown cow.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy here of a game. Yeah, that's definitely gotta be a mistake on the weapons, but okay, gets a couple of decent force shields. Again, the ramp not really being much targeted, but now he's pretty much out of sentry energy, so gonna get pushed back as the Immortal is out. Game could still easily drag on as the map is fairly large, but no!
Goodbye.
These guys watched the last series and they're tired.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Drogo's gonna struggle now, I think.
Yeah, I bet he's wishing he had an extra 100 minerals and 100 gas, huh?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he's lost so many probes as well. Even though he's caught up, he's had to invest a lot into getting caught up.
Well, he comes out to fight on the open field with no blink.
Not sure about that, and with less stalkers too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if those were Marines, sure you're kiting them, but stalkers and stalker on stalker action. If they have more units,
he just canceled the air weapons upgrade, by the way. But he started charge, he started +1 attack, and he needs. So I mean, those upgrades are really important, but he needs units too. I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, this is gonna be pretty difficult of a hold, but he does have the Immortal. The shield battery, however, is out of energy now, and the Pro Pool is coming. More Warpins coming from ShoWTimE. And Drogo desperately needs another Warpin. He has the money for it, but no availability for the moment. So I think this is a little too powerful for him. He's trailing like 30 supply behind now, 40.
Super dead. GG.
Super dead.
ShoWTimE taking game number 1.
An uncharacteristically sloppy game, I think, from both of maybe the two of the
Weird
top
game.
Protoss players in Europe.
Weird game.
Nay, the world.
The world.
Yes, indeed. Oh. Nay, did you know that even though all gases or Zerg gas costs 25, that all gases actually cost the same?
Are you gonna tell me that all Zerg buildings technically cost 50 minerals more than they say?
No. I was hoping that you would say yes, so I could be like wrong.
Well, the mining time that an SCV loses building a refinery.
Excellent point.
Even still, a probe even still, if it's on the mineral line, you still miss at least 1 or 2 cycles of mining technically.
No, from dropping the gas?
Yeah, to go
No,
build
no,
it?
no, no, no. The travel distance is pretty short. I think it's negligible.
I think it costs 4 minerals for a pro.
Maybe 4 minerals, but
Yeah.
but I mean, Zerg and Terran both travel half the distance anyway, so it would be like 2 minerals or 1 mineral,
Yeah.
right? However, Nate, did you know that Zerg gas is actually cheapest, even counting the drone?
Go ahead, explain yourself.
Okay, so when you make a Zerg gas, you actually empty one supply.
Yeah.
Now, supply has a cost, right? You get 8 supply for $100, which means each supply costs 12.5. So because you gain 1 supply, you would actually have to detract 12.5 from 75 and gives you 62.5, I believe. And that is the Zerg gas cost, right?
Fascinating.
Wrong. You know why, Nate?
I'm not saying yes or no to any answers to avoid being trapped.
Okay. The reason being, Nate, is that a drone that's actually already built holds more value than a drone that's starting to be built. So drones mine 60 minerals per minute, let's say, and they cost 12 seconds to make. Therefore, if you have the availability of minerals to continue on mining, which is not always the case with Zerg gas, right? You usually take it when you're saturated, so in those situations it's excluded. But if you have the availability, then your drone is actually worth 62 minerals instead of 50, which means Zerg gas costs 74.5, making it 0.5 cheaper than the Protoss gas. This not accounting, of course, for travel time, so maybe it's about even.
It might be 2 whole minerals difference in cost between Zerg and Protoss.
However, Terran, Nate. Terran builds a gas with an SCV, and gas time to build is 21 seconds.
Yep.
So Terran actually pays
It's
the most.
100 minerals for
Nearly, yeah, 97 minerals for a Terran refinery. Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. I mean, there's more to account for on the Zerg side, though. So it's actually it's comparable to Terran, and I think Protoss gets away with.
That's why whenever I play Zerg, I only make gases with one of the 12 drones I started with, because then there's no larva.
Sure, you could. Yeah, that's interesting. Got him. But yeah, I mean, if you remake the drone right away, which most people will, then technically gas basically costs all that plus 2 larva.
I technically got that drone faster because the supply was free, because I'm bad and I was supply blocked. So
yeah, well, there you go. And if you don't remake it, if you don't actually remake the drone, then the Zerg gas is considerably cheaper.
Yep. My favorite is the supply drop. If you are supply blocked and you have available production as a Terran, a supply drop is basically a warpin. You're cutting 21 seconds off the build time of every unit that you're waiting to start. If you are supply blocked and none of your production is going, the supply drop is infinitely better value than a mule.
You're right.
Because you're adding 21 seconds to the build time of every single unit.
Yeah, and you still get the value.
And that can happen to any race getting supply blocked, but that's where the supply drop itself generates the most value. So if you're ever supply blocked and you're actually not building stuff, like if it's 1 or 2 of your racks are delayed, you can maybe build a depot. But if everything is stuck, supply drop 100% if you can.
Yeah.
But always.
Yeah. I don't know about always, but if you're, if you have too much production, for example, then just wait it out.
If you have 3 racks and a starport not doing anything, and you just started 2 depots, everything you want to do is delayed significantly rather than like a little bit of money, which won't help you if you don't have units.
Absolutely, especially with Terran that wants to apply that pressure, right?
Yeah. It's fun breaking down the cost evaluation. Another big one I think that's going to come up. We haven't touched on this yet. Warp prisms were used last game. They're a bit more expensive now, cost an extra 50 minerals, and they can only pick up from 5 range instead of 6, which is, in my games at least, I've already noticed it. It's pretty significant. But recall went from what, 89 seconds to 124 or something?
130-ish.
Yeah, it's like a little over 2 minutes. So Protoss players have to be way more careful and decisive about using recall.
Yeah, I like that actually. Recall is one of those mechanics that I kind of like get out of jail free card here and there, but not like here and there.
Yes. That's the most beautifully worded way to describe it I've ever heard, Cats.
Why, thank you. All right, what we got here? Pretty standard stuff. 2 gateway against 2 gateway. No one does anything with their units for the most part because, you know, the other player will have 2 gateways. And yeah, we're now taking into a row on the side of Drogo. ShoWTimE already started with the Immortal production. And yeah, we were staring at each other, so if our wonderful observer Wisam can tell us what's going on, that would be...
Well, both players are building warp prisms, so pretty standard setup across both sides. Hallucinated Phoenix used on both sides to scout. Don't worry, Cats, we didn't miss anything. We're the best.
Yeah, it seems like they're centering quite a bit.
Yeah.
Making them sentries.
I mean, it's kind of a weird thing, because I believe both of them are aware of the robos now, so... No one should be surprised by a warp prism, but that also makes it really odd because the idea of if you get caught by a prism, that's really going to hurt. Or if your prism gets caught, then the other player gets to put on all the pressure. But it's going to be a fast robotics bay out of ShoWTimE, so I guess we're going into Disruptor Town.
No, I like it. I really like Disruptors in PvP. They make it very exciting. The Disruptor in general is one of my favorite units in StarCraft 2 unless I'm playing against it. Then it's like one of my least favorite.
Thankfully, they're pretty bad against Terrans, so I'm just going to say I love watching Disruptors in all ways.
Yeah, I guess you can always load into your medevacs.
Yeah, well, just the DPS of Bio, it's so easy to focus them, too. Like, unless you die into other stuff trying to focus it, of course.
Yeah.
But when you're building battle cruisers, you know, you don't really worry about Disruptors. So.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you try to focus fire them with like roaches, you better one-shot it.
You have to get so close is the other thing as well. And there's usually going to be some Zealots and Immortals with them. Or Stalkers.
It's nifty. I think they're kind of underrated actually in that matchup just defensively. But who knows? Well, Canning knows.
Disruptors are one of those funny units. It reminds me a lot of when the Baneling got its health buffed, where it was like, this change was made purely because players got too good. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas Disruptors have been tweaked a lot because players got too good with them at one point, and every game was just Disruptors. But now players are also become, it goes full circle where everyone gets so good at defending it that nobody goes Disruptors. And then everyone gets rusty again. Yeah. Round and round we go!
I guess everyone but me. I really struggle with Disruptors, quite honestly. Especially off creep, I guess. But, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Roach, Ravager, like, Ravagers are expensive. And they are fat, you know, but clunky would be a good way to describe them. I don't know. It's very difficult to yeah. Dummy thick is perfect, actually, yeah. Very difficult to dodge Disruptor shots with dummy thick units, but they're not ultraless, so it's not like they'll still hit like 5 of them, you know, 6, 7.
Resonating Glaives and Immortals with the Prism backup. Opportunity of plenty here. The Colossus actually should do pretty solid damage to the Adepts, too.
Yeah, but no Thermal Lance, I believe, right?
It's going to be really hard to deal with. Guardian Shield.
Oh, there's a Disruptor. Oh,
the Disruptor against this army is, which should be sick.
Oh.
Yeah, Adepts have no mobility. No real mobility, anyway.
And they clump up. They're very small units.
Look at that Colossus.
He's doing work now.
Get them Adepts on the Babby.
Yes, indeed. And Bro is going to get pushed back pretty hard here. Trailing now like 22 supply. And counting.
ShoWTimE's looking pretty good. He's also playing StarCraft really well today.
He sure is. Drogo has been looking great though as of late. I really thought this would be a very close series, but so far it's all ShoWTimE.
Yeah. I feel like we saw, it might have been Drogo. Someone tried to do these Adept shenanigans in the tournament recently. It looked kind of cool. I don't think it worked. See, this is where that backstab gets good though. The Adepts they could ransack this probe line while the Immortals try to get stuff done, but this big counterattack, like, what are you going to do about this?
I'm not sure that he can do much. I mean, if he had a Disruptor himself, that would be wonderful, but...
yeah, that's just it, right? He doesn't have anything to deal with that.
Yeah. Like, you're just trailing behind army, and you don't really have that, like, super massive kill potential where you could just turn the game around.
I like focusing the Nexus. Oh, careful! Don't lose that Disruptor.
Yeah, even if he does, though, like, how does he deal with this? He only has 1 Immortal, lots of Adepts, I guess. Could do the trick. The Disruptor is going to want to shoot those pretty fast. At least the Adept Shades will make it so... Oh!
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Adepts
now
do
the
go
Adept
through.
Shades. Yeah, but I mean, he already killed like 4. I was going to say with the Adept Shades coming in, the Disruptor was going to be rendered inefficient,
Yep.
right?
No, yeah, because he doesn't want a Disruptor shot himself. It does do friendly fire, so.
Exactly. So I love the idea by Drogo because in shading, it basically kills the Disruptor without killing the Disruptor. And great by ShoWTimE saying, I'm just going to kill you before you get here.
Yep, he did a really good job. Really good control, great force fields, great Disruptor hits onto the Adepts.
That was my opening for the gas.
What?
You almost gassed. No? Did you gas?
Gas?
Gassed.
Gas?
I used to burp you, Nate.
Gasp.
Gassed.
Forgot to breathe for a second. It's my biggest weakness as a commentator. I just, you know, people are like, oh, when it's hard to shut up, you forget to breathe too. It's all
Yes.
bad, really. Just don't ever become a narcissist, cats.
This is
Keep
why I
your,
used to burp you.
keep your modesty. Yeah.
This is exactly why,
be
so this wouldn't
commentating.
happen.
Be commentating some random StarCraft tournament for like $5 all night at the Root House, and then I'd be like, "Can we have tacos?" And you'd be like, "Yes." It's good times. And then you burp me.
And then I burped you.
Yeah.
Ah, good times.
Good times. Good times.
Then you
in
would sleep on the
StarCraft.
floor, even though you had a bed.
I was looking through a bunch of my stuff yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, there's my Root jersey from 2013 when we lived up in California." We had a pretty good pool, though. We had good times.
Yeah, that pool was big.
It's good times.
Good times indeed.
We're just waiting for them to start the next map, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great day here. Today is all Europe. We're going to be getting through all of Europe Challenger. We're going to be finishing it. The first semifinal is going to be the next series after this one, which will be really sick. Hero Marine versus Cyril. I want to see Hero Marine build BCs. And yeah, and then tomorrow we're going to finish America.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Actually, 3 people playing from Korea now.
Yeah.
That is.
These damn American players making us jump servers, playing the thing.
I guess 2 of them are actually playing each other. So we will probably play that one on the Korea server, I imagine.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. For my sake. I just want to
better quality.
I want to see clean games. You know what I mean? I'm talking just full on. Yeah. No. Like, do you ever watch like those videos where they like power wash old sidewalks or like patios and stuff? I'm telling you, man, it's a thing. I'm gonna change your life. I'm gonna change your life. Like, you'll see like someone's like driveway or something, and they're like, "No, we're gonna super power wash this. We got like fire hose, water pressure, and like the before and afters." Seriously, I don't know if this is like my inner dad genes are starting to come out, but like, dude, it's the best. No lie.
Like, how did you stumble across these videos, I wonder?
I was just scrolling down r/awe, and then like there was just a really high upvoted post of like some guy who like power washed his deck after like a really windy summer.
Yeah.
It was amazing how clean it looked. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was like he got a completely new deck, but the other half was like so grimy, and you wouldn't have believed it. You really wouldn't have believed that he didn't like pay to have it completely redone. And that's what I think about when I think about those builds. So.
I like that you said, do you know those videos? As if they were like
Have you never seen Power Wash? You never
I don't know,
know?
like you can ask me if I watch Naruto or Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll be like, yes, no, but like power washing your sidewalk or whatever.
Dude, Thanius is into some weird stuff, okay? I'm sorry. Battle cruisers and power washing. Well, have you ever seen a power wash battle cruiser? How is he going to get the creep off?
That's true. All right, so yeah, pretty standard stuff. We're gonna have double gateways on either side. I really want to see someone try a single gateway one time, Nate. I love single gateway openers.
Rotterdam's not here today, unfortunately.
Roddy does single gateways?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Well, what is he? He has like the Protoss mech. Have you ever seen what he does?
What's the Protoss mech?
He goes like, I think, double Stargate and a double Robo, but he like only builds Phoenix and Immortals, and then eventually goes Carriers if he feels like it.
Nice.
But I've seen him beat like 6k MMR Protoss on Europe with just Phoenixes and Immortals.
Well, Roddy's good.
Yeah.
Roddy's smart.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Roddy was one of the best Warcraft 3 orcs.
He makes it work. And
Yeah.
the best part is like when you watch someone who does fun builds like that, even when we're like casting WCS, you know, I can keep it relevant. There'll be a player does something really weird, and you're like, you know what? Everyone in chat gets really mad. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you do this? This is so terrible. And then you went with it, and it was just like, when you're good and you know how to.
Yeah, the power is in the know.
Yep. Because your opponent has probably never played against it, or if they have, they've only played against it maybe max 5 times, whereas you've done it a lot.
Yeah, that's a factor for sure. Yeah, Roddy is always scary to go up against. He always has like his build, you know, like, and if you haven't played him in a while, you don't know what his build is, then he's dangerous, man.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes he'll show up with like stalkers in PvC, and he'll only beat me because I'm the only one going gasless. But he'll crush me. All right. Robos on either side, pretty much mirror builds here. Minus this little poke. There is 3 sentries though. This could be bad for Drogo. Oh, don't stay there.
Back it up.
A little bit of greed is going to cost them, perhaps.
Yeah. Big time.
Oh, could have maybe picked that off. Okay, so a little bit of a wash, I guess, and force fields used. So actually, Drogo somehow comes out ahead. Drogo knows best.
Yeah, I don't think you'll need the force fields anytime soon, but yeah, I feel you.
But still.
You know what? Actually, I take it all back. I'm a terrible commentator. Maybe he will, because his proxy gate, he might push him. He might push him right now, but there he just baited 2 force fields out himself. So is it even?
It is even on that regard, and it seems like they're mirroring each other just word for word.
Do you think if we have a force field and the game doesn't immediately end, we could have it register as a resource lost? You know what I mean? Like, we need to get that granular with it. We assign a value to a missed force field.
Yeah. Wisdom Sauce and I were actually talking about the value of Larva, trying to assign value to Larva, but that's pretty tough. Because Larva essentially only holds value if you don't have it.
That's very true. That's really deep. It's pushing up. There is a shield battery here, though, and it's a lot of sentries tickling each other, which makes this a boring fight, but now the Immortal comes out and says, okay, kids, go home.
And they shall. Robotics Bay.
Robo Bay is cute.
Yeah, and I mean, that's been the secret sauce for ShoWTimE here, yeah? It's been working out pretty well, that Robo Bay. So we'll see if he's able to capitalize again. And Drogo has been very hesitant to go the same direction, but he is. Oh, and it's a proxied as well, the Robo Bay, so that's pretty sexy.
Yep, I like it. No way to scout it. That also brings me back to the supply drop discussion as well. We're going to get a 3 stalker drop, so not a crazy worker killing drop, but maybe a pylon snipe drop or a tech unit snipe drop.
Yeah, the first unit that shows up will also be in trouble, right? Like, stalkers have pretty good range. There's the first unit that shows up, but
that disruptor too. Yeah, you need to come up and protect that bad boy.
Yeah, there's oh no,
he sees it. I think he left it there just to scout it. That's very good to know, because the Robo Bay is not in his base.
Yeah. Additional, another one is being produced by ShoWTimE, whereas last time he just made the one and then went on to Colossus. So Drogo's now going for Blink. That's pretty good. Pretty sexy, making use of his tech, and that's the one deviation, right? Like, we're seeing the Robotics Bay versus the Blinks now. But I don't know, the Robo Bay has been working wonders for ShoWTimE so far. I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's a little bit questionable.
Yeah.
They're still... Okay, the units that were out on the map left the gateway, and they're just heading over towards Drogo's base. He's gonna recall.
Time to defend for Drogo, and this is gonna be sort of a siege from ShoWTimE. And now that he's in a favorable position here, it's gonna be more and more increasingly more difficult to dodge these disruptor shots, right? Like, because now they're gonna be threatening probes behind as well, and there's less space to dodge. So we'll see if Drogo is able to do it. Blink not yet done. Oh, trying to go for the disruptor. ShoWTimE very patient here, not quite using the disruptor shot. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing patience from the disruptor, and he's gonna change his course at the last second. Baits the wrong units to get picked up by the Prism.
Oh, but the second disruptor is unspotted, and I think this is gonna be. Oh, nice, nice.
Needs to get out of there.
Yeah, he really needs to get out of there.
Drogo's about to bust out.
He sure is. He has the greater numbers now, and let's see. There's another shot coming up soon. Yeah. He has to be a little bit cautious here. But yeah, with the Warp Prism, he's
warping in slow zealots. The madman.
It's weird. There's now a Warp Prism and Blink, so Drogo with very good control could very well just dodge all the Disruptor shots. Wow, aggressive Blink will go after the Warp Prism for a second there. Oh, but Blink is spent! And so the Disruptor shots get sexy.
Well, that
Still
was
Drogo,
pretty cool, but...
Nice. Oh, very well done. And Drogo showing exactly why. Nope. He went for this tech over matching ShoWTimEs. Very, very cool. The Warp Prism, of course, gives you Blink, and Blink definitely gives you Blink. So
Blink definitely gives you...
Most definitely. So it's going to be difficult for those Disruptors to do much moving forward unless the armies start getting ridiculous. Or Blink is spent aggressively.
The slow Zealots. I mean, at least they're going to soak hits, I guess, so that the Stalkers don't die as fast. The slow Zealots give me anxiety, cats.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, nice shot.
Oh, gets the Immortal in 2 sentries.
Yeah, I mean, he should never get the Immortals, in fairness, but the perfect shot is between the Immortal and all sentries, because then you're guaranteed something. You can't pick up everything over Prism.
And now probes are going to come off the line to fight, and Drogo striking back, trying to bring this series a little bit closer.
He's trailing in supply, but he feels strong right now, doesn't he? He's trailing in army supply as well. Now it's now ShoWTimE is trailing. But yeah, Drogo looking strong. That Immortal is so key right now. Both of them actually, but ShoWTimE has... Yeah, that is huge. Really oh no! This is the... You know what the problem here was, right, Nate? It's the Warp Prism range. Like where Drogo is sieged would account for the old range where that Immortal would be picked up.
Yeah.
But so he needs to siege a hex. He needs to adapt to the new range and siege a hex further up.
I do think ShoWTimE losing his Immortal for, I believe, a similar reason might be what does allow Drogo to nail this one in, though. The non-stop warp-ins overwhelm him, and Drogo is going to get onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, very well done. And I think that is the root of the sloppiness that we're seeing is this new Warp Prism, a lot of it, right? Like it's like they think they're going to pick up. Yeah.
I had the most fun game. One of those dudes did like I'm going to proxy DT drop you. And then I'm like trying to catch the Prism at the last second. In that normal scenario where it always just barely slips away, it turns back to try and get the 2 DTs. And then the Protoss player realizes it, and he's like, well, I don't want to lose the Prism, so he turns it away, and I killed 2 Dark Templar. I'm like,
nifty.
This changed already. Because it is a big deal when you're dealing with certain types of units, because first of all, 6 range is the same as the Stalker. So the Stalker is guaranteed to get hits if you try to pull a unit out that the Stalker is shooting at, rather than the Stalker barely missing. So that interaction in PvP is big. Obviously, for Terran versus Protoss, Marines are your anti-air, and they have 5 range. Now that the Prism's range matches that, Marines can get way more hits in. Like, you used to be able to permanently dodge them, technically, with that type of micro. And I guess in a way you still could, but...
Same goes for Queens on Archon drops. Now, the effective range.
Well,
what?
Queen? You talking about Queens?
Queens, yes.
Queens in range, cats?
Yes. Do we have a problem with Queens? I mean, that's the interaction. That's a very common interaction in CvP.
Queens have so much range. If they existed in real life, we would use them as cell phone towers.
And yet, the Warp Prism had effectively more range with the Archon. Like, if you microed it perfectly, technically, you should not be allowed to hit it. Before. Now it always hits.
I am going to do my best American impression and ignore all of the facts you have presented me to continue to live in my bubble. Acropolis for the next map. Can ShoWTimE close it out? Or is Drogo going to pull some more fancy moves on us?
We'll see. But yeah, and the biggest thing about that whole conversation is the fact that they have to adapt to it, right? Like they forget, like you've developed a muscle memory over the years that is no longer useful to have. It's a bad thing to have.
It's like if they change the attack speed of like a Banshee or something. It's a unit that everybody knows at some point how to make. Yeah, exactly. Oracle. Some units have been the same in certain ways for a very, very, very long time. People just have a pacing down for it.
Yeah.
That was like when they started to mess with like the Tempest range a bit, and players were like, well, I'm used to being able to kite units like this, and then they'd mess with the speed of it, and it's like the rhythm for moving and stopping and going changed.
Yeah. Well, a lot of units are like most units that can, any unit that can stutter step essentially, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can perfectly stutter step Marines to the beat of Staying Alive. Did you know that?
No. It's timed out to the same
rate as chest compressions, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Very important skill to have, by the way.
Perhaps it is.
Yeah. Save a life, man.
Yeah.
Build Marines.
So, the new T Swift album.
It's so good!
Yeah? I haven't listened to it yet.
You baiting me?
A little bit.
You baiting me? Everyone in WCS chat's gonna know? No, it's all good. Everybody in chat's in Taylor Gang too, so it's all.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that next tour drop. You know what I'm saying? We
For
can go.
sure.
We can go, Paolo.
Yeah?
We go catch in LA.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And you went to the Carly one. You
Here,
hugged her, I heard.
Yeah, I hugged Carly Rae Jepsen. It was the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah.
Other than when they announced battle cruisers would shoot while moving. Those are two. Those two are right next to each other.
Nice. Did she say anything?
What?
Did you say anything to her? Did she say anything back?
I said just thank you for everything you do. Your music gets me through some tough times. Yeah, that's all.
And what did she say? Thank you? Or?
Yeah, she said that's awesome.
So she was nice.
I'm happy. Yeah, she was great.
Some artists aren't very nice, you know?
That was super cool.
Cool. That's good to know. All right, so double gateway. Same.
We're still just waiting for some tech.
Century. Yep.
Same thing on both sides.
That is just PvP in a nutshell, right? It's just 2 gateways every time, and then you have to see is it going to be 2 stalkers, 2 adepts, a stalker, and a sentry.
So I'll squeeze in one more thing. Her favorite type of pizza is just plain pepperoni.
you just grabbed his heart as he said that.
If you like good pizza, then you know you don't need to put a ton of stuff on it.
Okay.
Okay, so things are happening. So the next side is starting up Stargate in ShoWTimE's base.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wonder, what did he want? He went 2 Oracle on Thunderbird, right? Was it?
Yeah.
So we could see something like that again. The Oracles did do very well for him.
Yeah.
If you send a hallucinated Phoenix, it will make your opponent cancel their shield batteries. Pro tips from ShoWTimE.
At least when it comes to Drogo, they will, but we'll see. There's a row on the side of Drogo, so we'll see what he decides to do. I mean, he's been pretty consistent with his strategy for the most part, not mixing it up too much. And Drogo is, as a player, the type of player that's very methodical in his approach, I think, and really likes consistency to a good degree. So, for example, in PvC, he very much liked the Archon drop opener. That's not like a super sneaky opener, but rather an opener that you can do consistently. It's kind of the same for his PvP, it seems so far, right? He hasn't done anything too tricky.
No. That Phoenix did fly past, I believe, the Oracle. Worth noting. Got to stay on top of that.
He's a very nuanced player as well, though. You gotta say that, and that's just by virtue of approach, right? Like, it's when you do the same thing often enough, and that's not to say that he does the same thing every time. Especially in PvP, you have to kind of mix it up. But you know, when you repeat a lot of the same, then your process is gonna be very clean, and that's what Drogo strives for. And that's why I think he is a player that can definitely continue to improve and continue to become one of the best. He's already up there, I think.
Yeah.
But above him, perhaps, at least in Europe, is this man, the Wall. So.
All right, the 2 Oracles. Okay, 2 Adepts are going to run in. They may be trying to distract here with this. Can, of course, kill probes through the shield batteries if you time it properly.
Yeah, you have to time them to both shoot at exactly the same time.
Which does require a little bit of finagling at some point, because the random attack delay will desync your Adepts if you just shift click, or if one of them has to move.
Yeah, they were kind of spread there. Ideally, they're just both on the same location. Because even distancing matters, right? Like if one is a little bit further away, then even if they shoot at the same time, the shots won't arrive at the same time.
Physics degrees are required to play StarCraft at a high level. Protoss players are actually all PhDs.
Oh yeah?
It's built in. Yeah, you need to be that smart to play this race.
Yeah, perhaps. It might be the smartest race. Because you actually have to actively trick your opponent. It's such a tech-heavy...
Well, that's why people hate Protoss players.
Yeah.
It's not because it's easy. It's because the mind games required to play Protoss well just frustrate people because it means they're getting outplayed every single time they lose to Protoss.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why I hated the one meme on Reddit. That's the lion, the tin man, and the the what's his name?
The Thin Man? We
I know what
Charlie's
I'm talking
Angels
about.
here?
No, no, we're talking about the. What is this? Is it Dorothy? Dorothy and the.
Oh, the Tin Man. Oh,
Tin Man,
yes, yes.
And it's like Protoss doesn't have a brain, but I'm fairly confident that Protoss players have the biggest, largest brain on average.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens here.
Protoss is also, as far as the...
Oh wow, look at that.
Dude, those look really nice.
Very atomic.
These skins are really sick. Like I said, please just whitelist my account. Just give me all of them ahead of time. I'll show them off. I'll brag about them. I pretend that I'm like just trying to show them off, but really I just want to look this cool. These are gorgeous.
A lot of them are like the best I've seen for each.
They really stepped it up for this war chest. Yeah, I think they all look really good.
Yes, indeed.
The biggest thing is, and it's really nice that we get to see them in game, because you know, I don't think I'm reaching when I say this, but they look a lot better in game than they do in the menus and advertisements. Like.
Yeah, because the animations are there too, and they're good.
Yeah, and the thing is also the units are in, like, you know, the maps have shaders that run over everything that make the game look like how it looks. So when you see the models in a vacuum, it doesn't look as nice. And those Archon models crash through force fields, because that's what Archons do.
Yeah,
and
Drogo could use a
that's-
pickup though. Archon on the very front. Okay, we'll fall.
I don't think it matters.
It looks great for Drogo. here.
Archon shooting probes. GG
Yes,
Drogo.
indeed.
Tears it up. The Oracles did not do anything for him.
All right, it's a 2-2 series tied up.
Pug.
Pog.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that ended pretty suddenly actually. I thought it was gonna be a poke. No, it was pretty committed attack. Yeah,
bruh, I just don't think you have that much.
Indeed. So we're gonna see what happens in Game 5. This is pretty exciting. Who you have your money on?
ShoWTimE has like fallen apart in the last few maps. He looked really good in Game 1 and 2. I was like, this is going to be 3-0. But I guess I thought the same thing about Soul.
I felt like they were both sloppy in Game 1, and they both have kind of stepped it up, but mainly Drogo. It seems like he's waking up or something at 8:30 p.m.
At 8:30 p.m. he is waking up. Hey, you know what? I don't judge him. It was Friday last night. Maybe he woke up at 2 p.m. and then he went for a morning run. And then maybe by 7 o'clock he was like, I'm not woke up. I don't know. I got nothing. He took a nap.
Yeah. Well, this is an exciting one.
King's Cove. To wrap this one up. I miss King's Cove.
I hope the last map is King's Cove to crown the champion.
It is.
It would be fitting. Well, I mean, the
oh,
last...
if you mean like the grand finals.
Yes, that would be great.
King's Cove is the #1 thing I miss from this map pool.
Yeah.
So King's Cove was a really good map.
Tileset is great on King's Cove.
It's a beautiful map. Somehow the win rates were balanced, which blows my mind because I thought I thought it was stupid good for Terran.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I've been told to stop talking about video games and tell you to check out this beautiful Adept skin, because maybe, just maybe, if your Adepts look this fresh and poppin', you too will get to eat at the chillest restaurants and hang out with the coolest dudes, just like everybody else in Twitch chat.
Mm-hmm. And there's free stuff too.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing. So I guess that technically this has been the first WCS broadcast since the War Chest went live. So I'm just going to say again, War Chest is out. You can check it out in the Collections tab of StarCraft 2. You can also find it on the Battle.net store. You can get it. You can buy it all online before you even boot your game up if you need to. And there is a free tier for the War Chest this season. There's sprays and classic Brood War skins. You can get the Brood War Marine.
You have a salt spray that you really like, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a salt spray, and that's the best, too, really. My next thing I'm lobbying for is for mules to be able to spray, because honestly, that's... you know what I mean? You drop 5 bullets in their base at the end of the game, and then you have them all spray the salt
Oh,
up.
no, I know.
And then they're like, oh, my God. What
I think it was a very sensible decision not to have no spray.
Artosis nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
As far as tilting, I would love to see that in a pro game, as a mind game. But on ladder, that would get a little too much. Like the mule drop is already a little much.
All right, let me postulate this for you, since PvP takes forever to start up. Okay, Alpha Star, right?
Yes.
It's teaching itself theoretically, in an ideal world, it's teaching itself the best way to win StarCraft, right?
Yeah.
So you would assume that at some point it's going to know that it's in a match against the same person, right? Potentially, or it could train itself playing against human opponents. Imagine this. Every single player that beats Alpha Star drops meals on its face, right? So what happens when it starts to coordinate meals landing in its face with defeat and apply it to its own behavior pattern so that it thinks that when you're winning, you should drop meals and it makes your opponent leave, or you do it when you're ahead. It may not understand it, but it's a machine. So all it's going to do is be like, well, this is what happens. This is a winning move. And then AlphaStar actually turns into the most BM person because people also say mean things when they beat it.
That would be pretty funny, but AlphaStar has played millions of games against itself, whereas it can't physically.
Okay, but do you see, that is one thing, but if it's playing on the ladder against people, you know, it just brings me back
losing only.
Just reminds me, and there's been some terrible snafus at companies that are like, all right, we're going to put out an AI bot that interacts with people. They all go bad fast, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, at some point, you know, AlphaStar is going to be building Manor Nexi, Manor Hatches, and then it's gonna increase its win rate because players are going to get tilted. They're like, is this?
It already floats. It already floats, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty BM. But I guess it's, you know, the best chance. Maybe it goes for draws or something like that.
Yeah, you should.
Probably got a couple of those.
People make jokes about fantasy GG timing, but he has won some of those games. And if you ever win one of them, then all of the games where you try and fail are worth it.
Absolutely. Time is not much of a constraint for it, I don't believe.
Not
probably doesn't grasp the concept.
No.
Okay, so double gateway openers, but this time a Stalker and a Sentry on either side. So we're gonna see even more of a mirror than before, as both players will be able to scout each other with Hallucinated Phoenix in time. But it is PtitDrogo who has the proxied pylon. So we'll see. Should he use it? I mean, there's not a probe nearby.
Both next size startup. I just love thinking about that because I actually do believe that getting inside your opponent's head and being a little BM actually greatly increases your chances of winning. If you can frustrate them in any way.
I mean, it depends on the kind of person that you're playing against and what ticks them. Yeah.
Yeah, because the worst case scenario is they don't care, and you're like, as long as you don't invest too much energy into doing it, it's nothing ventured, right?
Yeah.
But if you drop a mule and you don't know, but you're playing against Artosis, like
Bly is a master of these tactics, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mini Racer. You know Mini Racer?
Yep.
Former professional gamer, one of my best friends, and he was a very tilty player. Okay, so what Bly would do against Mini Racer is, because Mini Racer is so impulsive, when Bly would join the game in a tournament, Mini Racer would start, and then when the game started, Bly would say, "I wasn't ready," and leave. So then they would rehost the lobby. Bly would join. Mini Racer would start the game, and then Bly would leave again and say, "I wasn't ready," until Mini Racer basically asked them.
Yeah, and the admins are like, "Well, yeah, you have to, you know, we have to do a ready check."
Bly is very, very good at that. Like, he will take every advantage, every way to frustrate your opponents, and I mean, he plays within the rules as far as I can tell, but he tiptoes.
The amount of salt that I've harvested off of ladder by just dropping meals to repair my own battle cruisers in other people's bases, unfathomable. I can't believe you'd BM me like that. My BC was at half health, so it wasn't even like a bad move.
Yeah, I mean, in those cases.
But at the same time, I'm also very aware that I could tilt my opponent by doing it as well, which is another reason why you do it, because it gives you an advantage.
Surely, especially if it's a series.
Yeah. So we got a Prism coming out, and I believe we've got one on both sides. So very similar, actually. Both players looking for opportunity, and they're going to run right into each other.
Yeah, very good scouting for both players, very diligent in this game. And it's actually ShoWTimE that's going to get the better of this, because with his Hallucinated Phoenix, he spots the Warp Prism and avoids vision of the Warp Prism with his own Warp Prism. So while PtitDrogo will be spotted in moving in, ShoWTimE has not been, and he will arrive with a Warp Prism at the natural base, maybe move past it and into the main. We'll see. This would be a good time, as PtitDrogo is preoccupied on the other side of the map. But yeah, ShoWTimE still had to warp in. Okay, and I won't like it if he drops it right now. I think he needs for something to be happening.
Yeah, you won't. No. That's not going to get anything done. You can go around the outside towards the main.
Oh, here, something is happening. This is perfect. Yeah, like this is perfect. PtitDrogo starts occupying his own attention onto ShoWTimE's side of the map, and that's the opening that ShoWTimE uses to move in with his own Warp Prism. There is an Immortal here, but the Adepts will get some damage done.
Yeah, grabs 3 probes. That's nice. Tucks himself in the back. That +1 attack upgrade, pretty fast for both players. It's going to line up and end up being even at the end of the day. As he trades out for a few probes of his own.
Yeah. Oh, that's the range again. That's the War Person range, playing mind games on
Cannot save that
Drogo.
Adept.
Yep. Okay, there's too many units here for that. So that one's not gonna work at all. Supplies dead even, workers dead even, army not dead even. How does this math work out? Well, it works somehow. But yeah, now the numbers have changed.
6 gateways. So you're gonna see some charge lots, gonna see some archons.
Should be good stuff.
Although, no Templar archives yet for our boy Drogo. So is he thinking big zealots?
I'm not sure. He's banking a lot of money, whereas oh, there it is. It's just a little bit late, so he was probably preoccupied with something else, because it seems like they're both playing off the same rulebook here.
Are we gonna see exactly what happened on
Oh,
Acropolis
this is nifty.
again?
Good cancel right away. Perhaps we are. I mean, these are builds as mirrored as they get, minus the fact that Drogo was a little bit slow to his Templar archives this time around. And the third, right? Like ShoWTimE.
Yeah.
ShoWTimE dropped his third, and at the same time with his two immortals went to Drogo's third, or through Drogo's third, hoping to find it. So that's great for him, as he accrues 2 advantages now on the tech front and the economical front potentially.
He takes the third on the north side of his main as well, so that's going to be quite a bit further away, more difficult to defend. But he wants, I guess, maybe you want ShoWTimE to go west and see that there's no third base still, so that he maybe overcommits to defending and like drops a ton of shield batteries. I don't know. Like thinking there's going to be a big attack since his third was delayed.
Oh, unlucky for Drogo, the Observer will be in his path. This had so much potential to do damage with the 2 Archons here loaded.
It's very dangerous to make these plays, as we were already talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Range on the Prism's pickup being reduced. And also it costs 50 minerals extra for the Prism, which you're like, oh yeah, it's only 50 minerals, but add it up over a long period of time.
Yeah, it's not like you make a lot of Prisms, but yeah, it feels a little bit fairer at least. Because the War Prism had to be one of, if not the best unit in the game prior to this patch.
Yep. And I was also just going to say as well, like, you don't make too many, but that's like, it makes losing it feel a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like the first Prism, you're like, whatever. But when you have to start replacing them, you're like, suddenly you can feel that extra 100 minerals you've spent across the 2 Prisms.
Yeah, I love this by Drogo, by the way. So he opens up the natural base with his poke at the third. It's not going to work out too well, but...
Oh my god!
Oh! Nifty.
Rip probes.
13 of them go down, and 1 more will also join them in the ethers. Well, wait, do probes go to the Protoss Valhalla?
I don't think probes have souls. I think they're just robots.
Yeah.
I don't think probes feel pain.
Yeah,
if they do, I ask only one question. Why, you sick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pain is a good mechanic, but we'll leave that discussion out of this game, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's important to know not to leave your hand on a burning stove. I'll say that.
Exactly, yeah. Without pain, could the probes notify the commander?
I think that you could have like they probably have like black boxes in them, but I think they would also have like just like a general status monitor, right? Like all systems check type thing. So it could still alert you. It could be like, oh yes, the hull is we are.
But with
under
what
fire.
urgency, right? Like pain creates urgency, I think, to act.
Yeah. Well, I think the pain is.
Oh, this is good for Drogo. Look at that. Beautiful positioning
great
here.
spread. Dude,
Yeah.
ShoWTimE fell apart in this match.
He really did, defending that. And Drogo has fat units in the back, and that's his one downfall here. If those Archons were in the front, that would be so difficult to break. But
Pull those
oh my god, there's 3 or 4, 5 Archons not attacking anything.
Canceled his Zealot weapon for a hot second.
Oh, they're still not attacking. This is painful, but he might still have enough. The position was so strong here. Okay, now they're moving on to the front.
He's crushing.
GG.
G to
Nice.
the E to the G, baby. Drogo!
Yeah, very well done. I mean, that attack was a little bit sloppy towards the end, but he does grab the position. That was very important, just with such a good arc. made using the buildings of his opponent, right?
Yeah, that was great. The position was perfect, and just the way that you mentioned it when he started pushing up onto third base, and the Prism at the natural, and he had the Adepts warped in there, and then he went to the main with the Archons, and those probes clumped up, and that's...
Yeah, there was one difference in choice where ShoWTimE chose to use the Immortals for harassment. Drogo delayed his harassment, but it was much more effective because Archons kill a lot of probes, whereas Immortals have limited the damage output as far as like killing multiple units.
Yeah, they're really, really well done. Great engagement, and just the spread on the ramp was so good. Some of the Archons were stuck in the back, but they were mostly being blocked by other Archons, so it wasn't that bad at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the arc was great. What wasn't so good was, you know, the order in which the units were.
Yeah. That does it for the round of 16, round of 8, whatever round we're on. We're on the round of 8. That does it for the round of 8. We're going into the semifinals next.
That's going to be a
And time to find out our first grand finalist. We're going to be going to a Terran versus Zerg. It's going to be Cyril versus Hero Marine. We'll see you on the other side.